Big T has graced us with his presence again, JSU. How exciting is this? Lots going on. We're excited about this. We got a Thunder lineup that literally just popped. Diallo, Williams, Roby, Baisley, Horford.
Roby. My core's ready on DK if you want to talk about
What do you got, Big T? Let's do it, dude. Tell me what your core is.
Vooch. I'm definitely starting with Vooch at center. I need some safety with all these guys. I think he's got upside too. And Pascal. Those are kind of the two guys I need to have in there. And then, so I'm changing the workbench play. And the members will know. I'm going Roby with the workbench. So 3.4, love him. He's got to end up lower owned than the rest of those guys, I would think. He might get some ownership, but he's my favorite play now. Kenrick and Horford they complete the core. And then, since it's members, I mean, you can even take it a little further with these guard spots. I haven't filled out the whole team yet, but like it's Levine and D'Lo, or Lowry and Van Vliet, or you can run through all these guards, Kemba and Beal, and cycle through the guards whoever you want, and it just fits perfect. I think my core, these five guys, fits perfectly for mixing in and matching in a bunch of other combinations of people. But I think this five really gets you in the area where you can make some decisions on who you like in other spots. I'll probably play Diallo also, but I mean, I'll definitely play Diallo. I should just put Diallo in my core because there's no way I'm not playing Diallo today. They have no guards, so I am definitely playing Diallo.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Hardwood show for some Wednesday night NBA action. We got a full slate, 10 games. It's been relatively quiet in terms of the news. As always in this day and age of NBA DFS, I'm sure that's going to change. Wouldn't be surprised if we get something big here while we're on the air. But welcome everyone to the show. The three of us had a lot of fun on Monday night giving away those tickets. The three entries, they felt a little bit short, but some solid roster construction. I looked them over and I was pretty impressed overall. But after talking with the boys and talking with some of the members, it was very successful. Everyone liked it. I'm gonna say I think you're gonna see more of that moving forward. Something we're gonna continue to do. It was a lot of fun. We like doing it. So as always, we like to give back, and we're gonna do it on a more frequent basis. It was a lot of fun. Joined by my two boys, Title and Big T. Go to you first, Title. Your Bucks team, man, they're looking a little bit rough, man.
Yeah, this is not fun to watch. I'm scared for sure. Thankfully, Drew Holiday's out, so it's not the full Bucks roster right now. But I mean, you still can't be doing this consistently to teams. I'm definitely nervous. Brook Lopez closing games out over Bobby Portis makes no sense at all. They're in a lot of trouble. It's scary for sure, but I keep telling myself there's time. Hopefully they can get it going, because usually it's the other side where the Bucks are crushing in the regular season. Everyone's telling me to slow my horses. It's just the regular season. So I'm hoping that they figure it out, but yeah, not looking good. But I do want to give
Go ahead, Dale.
Sorry, I was going to give a shout out to Mangone. I rarely ever give this guy credit. He gets a lot of messing around, a lot of hate sometimes, but what a hit he had last night on the show too. I was watching the show, very successful. So I had a stroke man going a little bit. Doesn't happen too much, but what a big win for him yesterday. But for the Bucks, like Middleton goes the first 10 minutes of the game without shooting. You can't. He's the best offensive player on the team. Like, I know Giannis is the MVP and all that, but Middleton can get his own. He has to shoot the ball. Plenty of things going around wrong with that team right now.
Seems like something's going on. It was just weird from Middleton. No aggression, just looked uninterested. But yeah, shout out to our boy Mangone. Had a big night last night. Took down, it looked like around $15,000 over there on DraftKings. So yeah, we like to poke fun at Mangone. He's an easy target. He's an easy guy to make fun of. But we'll give him credit when credit's due. A little 15K pickup yesterday. So congratulations to him. Tony, any stroking for Mangone, or are you still just going to stick to making fun of him?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him credit. He got the job done in the tournament, and he got the haters coming at him on Twitter. I had to get in there and defend him a little bit. You're doing something right when the haters come out and start, oh, well, this guy was in the core and that guy. And, I mean, come on, people. He got the job done. Give him some credit. We make fun of him enough. You got to give him credit when he gets the job done.
Yeah, definitely got the job done last night. So congratulations to him. Before we get started, guys, as always, hit the likes. I mean, doing a better job. I mean, wow. I'm actually really impressed. I mean, 340 in here, 122, and I didn't say anything. Guys are starting to listen. Makes things a lot easier.
Yesterday we were way above 50% too, because we were at like 650, and I said we got to get over 400. I said we're not, and they just flew over 400 again yesterday. So that's the standard now.
Yeah, you guys know what's at stake too. I mean, when I'm on here. I mean, the other hosts, maybe they're a little nicer, but man, if those likes don't start piling up, you don't get the title change the name of his, the SO play of the day, the SO play of the day, and the workbench play of the day. So you got to make sure you hit the like, and more importantly, our producer, he's very sensitive about the subscriptions. Like, you got to hit the subscribe as well. The likes make us happy. The subscriptions make the producer happy. So make sure to hit the subscribe button as well in that bottom right corner. It's how we can continue to bring you guys these shows for free, and give away free stuff too, free tickets. I mean, $1,800 worth of tickets right out of our pocket on Monday. And we're going to continue to do stuff like that for sure moving forward. We're on Instagram too. If you're on Instagram, head on over there. We're at Rumpier Sports. Like I said a few times, not familiar with Instagram. I've never really been on there, but we have a Instagram page there. Our boy Bobby Gomes runs that. So head on over to Rumpier Sports and do whatever you can do on Instagram. Comment, post, tag people. Like I said, I don't know how it works, but we got something going on over there. So let's go ahead and hop into this slate. We have a lot of games here. First one on the docket is the Knicks and the Magic. Basically a 210 total. Knicks favored by 4 in this game, and the reason they're favored is due to the injuries on the Orlando Magic side. They're going to continue to be pretty thin here. They're thin when Michael Carter-Williams is popping in the projections, and that's the case today. He's showing up on some of these optimal teams. He's going to be popular. Vucevic, price is up there, man. He's now 10-1 on DK. I'm probably going to look somewhere else if I'm going to spend. On the Knicks side, Julius Randle coming off a monster game. He looked phenomenal. Nerlens Noel, I mean, the price has come up, but he continues to pay off the price tag. I think he's interesting a little bit, but that's probably the extent of the plays for me in this game. We'll go to you first, Title. What do you see in this Knicks Magic game?
Yeah, so it's weird when Michael Carter-Williams is popping and going to be chalk. On FanDuel, he's 4-4. He's a good play over there, but it's a cash play for me. He's one of the guys that anytime I know he's going to be chalky, there is no chance I play him in tournaments just because there's so many ways he busts. It's Michael Carter-Williams. Like, he's not very good, I don't think. He can't shoot the ball too well. So anytime he's chalk, I fade in tournaments. Same plan today, but he is a good cash play with the injuries. The only other guy I really have interest in is Nerlens Noel. But it's a 10-game slate. This game's the only game that locks first. I don't think you need to lock spots in this game, really. It's if you want to take a Noel, I'm fine with it. His ownership's going to be reduced, I think, because it's the first game, but it's only MCW. It's only Noel. Otherwise, it's an easy fade for me.
Great comment. Big T will like this one from Derek. Ring goes, Big T needs to teach Hoop how to bend the bill on that hat, man. Not only was the bill messed up, like, it was all crooked and shit on my hat. As soon as he said that, I looked up. I was like, wow, I look like a freaking moron. So, I mean, the bend's not optimal, but man, the fact that it was like crooked on my head like this, that made it look way, way worse. Big T, teach me, my friend.
Well, you're in the dark too. You got to turn your light on your camera, and we can see that bill even more. But Yeah, I mean, you got to get the perfect curvature. This was an old hat too. That's been my good luck hat from the poker room. But it's the same one. It looks like it must be the hat I like, because then we got the Run Pure ones that are similar with the white Nike. Must be a good. It must be a good.
I'll work on the bend here while Big T's breaking down this Magic Knicks game. I got to get this thing looking a little better.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this game, I've been all about the early games for a while, but this game, man, it's tough to be excited about it. We're waiting on who we waiting on for Orlando. Fournier, James Ennis, both questionable, I think. Man, Orlando's roster is so bad with these guys out, and I don't know. Like Vooch is 10K. The Knicks guys that I would want to play, Randall 9,500. I mean, Randall even on FanDuel 9K. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm never playing Michael Carter Williams ever. I couldn't even imagine playing it. Maybe if Fournier and Ennis are both out, I could play him on FanDuel, like you guys said, 4,400. But that's definitely more of a cash play in my eye. It's really, really hard for me to play him. I kind of feel the same way about Noel. I don't feel good about playing guys like that. It feels like the double condom play or whatever people always call it. I don't know. Those aren't Big T plays at all. And this game just looks like an easy fade with it being the early game. Usually I'm saying to get a little bit in on that early game. Today I'm saying let's just buy an extra half hour and fade these guys.
Yeah, that is a good point you bring up. The slate locks at 7. If you just go ahead and fade this game, you're giving yourself an extra 30 minutes to adjust to the news. I mean, it'd be one of the worst situations, kind of forcing in a play here, and then you get a big piece of news that breaks between 7 Eastern and 7:30 Eastern, and you're kind of pigeonholed into a certain build. So that's a really good point. I agree with you there. I think that makes it a lot easier to go ahead and just fade this game. The next one, we have the Hawks, we have the Celtics, 222.5 total. Boston favored by 2, and Boston's going to be relatively thin here today. They ruled out Kemba Walker, ruled out Daniel Tice as well. So these guys, Tatum, Jaylen Brown are going to be responsible to carry a hefty load on the offensive side. Peyton Pritchard, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams III played well yesterday. He's going to be in for a big role here again today. On the Hawks side, mostly a fade for me. I don't really see many plays standing out, but I do have a lot of interest in these Celtics guys. I think this is a slate where you can look at, 2, 3, 4 guys, not necessarily all in one lineup, but I think individually they're all solid plays. Have to imagine one of Brown or Tatum have a monster game here on this spot. I want to build a lot of my teams, I think, with at least one of those guys. Tony, go to you first. What do you see here in this Hawks Celtics game?
Yeah, I mean, just watching Boston a little bit yesterday, we kind of talked about this on the earlier preview show today with the bet side, but they just don't look right to me. I mean, Tatum even came out and said something about not feeling right since COVID, and he just hasn't looked right. I don't know. Like, even yesterday, they beat the Nuggets. I had tons of Tatum and Brown. They just didn't look right. They didn't feel like the same dominant self. So I'm a little bit more cautious.
Not to cut you off, but to add to that point, there was a quote from Brad Stevens that kind of backed that up about Tatum, saying something. It was a longer quote, but I read it yesterday. It was like along the lines like, hey, we have to make sure we're getting him adequate rest and not putting too much on his plate, basically. So it kind of backs up what you were saying there.
So I kind of think like, man, they look like they're in a really good spot, all these guys. I'm slightly more worried about it, though, than the field. Like, I think these guys are going to be very popular going against Atlanta. Price tags are more than fair. If I didn't watch closely yesterday, and it's a back-to-back talking about the whole rest thing, like you said, with Tatum, everything combined with them being chalky, I'm a little more cautious than the field. But 2 guys that I just absolutely love on Boston is, for one, Time Lord, Robert Williams, 3,100, looked good yesterday. And against Atlanta, they're going to need his size against Capella and Collins and even guys that go to the rim a little bit. So I 3,100, we talk about this all the time. He went for 30 yesterday in 20 minutes. I mean, even if he gets 20 in 20 minutes again, it's perfect for 3,100. And the guy that I just love that looked good yesterday is this Neesmith. He's going to run the second unit. He played 24 and 28 minutes the last 2 games, and he's 3,100. And he actually looks good. Like, he looked good to me in that game yesterday, like an actual basketball player. I think he could skyrocket, and he's got a decent chance being the workbench player of the day today, not to give him spoilers. But I love Neesmith today. I hope he comes in crazy low owned, which I think he will, because the projections are not going to show what he's strictly like I watched the game type play, where the projections aren't going to account for those guys being out, him running the second unit back to back, where Tatum and Jalen maybe get slightly less run. I think everything points to Neesmith having a big game tonight, and he's stone man on both sides. So not even super risky, in my opinion. I love it. Atlanta, I agree, though. I don't love much from Atlanta.
Big T taking a page out of Title's book there and previewing the potential workbench play of the day. If you're with us on Monday, Title just said, Big T was kind of going at him a little bit, and he just said, fuck it. I'm going in, and I'm giving it right now. You're making fun of my boy?
Who was it?
It was
Steph.
Steph, yeah. Yeah, he just said, you know what? I'm going for it. Big T was taking shots.
Did he outscore Harden?
He got exactly what I said. He got his 5X with the floor. It was a blowout, so he wasn't able to get over the top. But I did say Harden and Kyrie were going to be chalk. So it was the pivot off of them that I like the play. He got 5X for us.
He crushed too. I mean, he crushed.
But he didn't do Harden and Kyrie. No, you were right about that when they went off.
No, don't give it to Big T credit.
Well, he got a chalk guy right.
That's not how it works on here. When Big T's wrong, you never circle back and give him credit. You keep going at him. And
he got a chalk guy right. I thought he was the cash guy for a sec. I was taking his spot.
Harden wasn't even that chalky.
Yeah. All right, Title. What do you got here in this one for us? The Hawks.
Yeah. So Robert Williams on both sides stands out as my favorite Celtic for his price. He just, anytime he comes in the game, he makes an impact right away. Steals, blocks, points, rebounds. He's just a good player, very active. So I think this is good chalk for a cheap price tag. I like him on both sides. The thing the problem on FanDuel is you only can play one center. And I love Jokic. There's other spots too. So that's a really big decision. You can go all the way down. You can go all the way up to Jokic and stuff. Those are my two favorites for sure, though. If you're making multiple lineups, I like mixing it because your whole roster construction is different, whether you plug in Jokic or Robert Williams. DraftKings, I like Robert Williams a lot. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, definitely cash plays without Kemba, without these. It's a 2-point spread, so I'm not worrying about rest too much because it should be a close game. In the future, I didn't see those quotes or any of that either, so it was definitely good that we talked about it. However, today the spot's really good against Atlanta with the injuries. The prices are good, so I like both of them. And then a little value if you want it. Peyton Pritchard's 4,200 on DraftKings. Semi Ojeley's 3,400. I'm fine going there as a last piece if you need it. They should get a little extended run. I prefer Peyton Pritchard because he's a good basketball player. He can shoot threes, gets assists, showing aggressiveness. So I like a lot of Celtics. I'm not going to play I'm not going to play 4 of them in the same lineup today, but I'm definitely going to have a couple. And the Hawks, I don't have too much interest in.
Yeah, I agree. Full slate. I mean, there's not much appeal in the Hawks. The ticket giveaway is over, but we still do have that promo going on. The Workbench 21 gets you 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports, which includes all our content, all in one package. Big T, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. Give the people a breakdown of what they get when they become a member over at Run Pure Sports.
I mean, just speaking of just basketball, first of all, I should say even before the basketball, you get every sport for one cost, which I think is the biggest luxury. I mean, when it gets to the weekend, you get NASCAR and you get titles, MMA stuff, soccer. Again, every time I talk about this, I forget a few, but
tennis, NHL, League of Legends.
Every single sport, like whatever you want to play DFS wise, we'll have you covered. In the Discord, you get that, which is the best part as well. You get in there with the discussion. But NBA, speaking strictly of NBA, you're going to get core plays from all the best players. You're going to get a cash breakdown from the best cash people. And then you're going to get the Up to Lock show, which is premium, where they take you up to lock with all the news. Even after lock, I've hopped on a few times with them, talk about pivots and injury this and that. You're just getting everything that can have you covered for whatever you could need DFS wise. And I think we cover it all. If we're missing something, we're glad to add whatever as well.
And I will say the NASCAR kicked off nicely on Sunday, and we talked about the product early in the week last week, and it lived up to all the hype. I mean, Coop's playbook was basically on point with what happened in that race, and I know a lot of our members had big days over there. The NASCAR is included, like we said. It's not a big, $3, $4, $5. Some places charge them $500 for NASCAR content. Like NASCAR, we got it covered for all in one price. It's included in our package. PGA kicking off tomorrow morning. AP, myself, I think Coop's involved in that as well. So our boy Snyder, full breakdown, cash sheet, core plays. So head on over to Run Pure Sports, the promo code Workbench21, 25% off your first payment over there. All right, let's hop into the next game. We got the Rockets. We got the 76ers, 227 total. 76ers favored by 10.5 in this game. On the Houston side, PJ Tucker, doubtful. Victor Oladipo, doubtful. Eric Gordon, questionable. And Embiid is probable. They had kind of listed him as questionable. Now he's been upgraded to probable. The Rockets side, it's not the best matchup. They are 10.5 point underdogs, but they're going to be pretty thin. And we talked about it on the show, and I heard you guys talk about it a little bit on yesterday's show, the Demarcus Cousins thing. As soon as all those guys were ruled out last game, it just became apparent that Cousins was a really good play. They just don't want him on the court. I mean, 20 minutes. If he can't get over 20 minutes in that spot last time out with all those guys out, he's a guy that I think we just kind of have to write off right now for DFS purposes. I mean, he's just not getting it done. They prefer him to not be on the court, even with these guys out. And then on the 76ers side, I think it's tough to invest in some of these big price tags, but some of the cheaper guys, especially on FanDuel, like Seth Curry is really cheap. Danny Green is the minimum. I mean, low floor for Danny Green. Don't get me wrong, but he's 3.5K. He'll play a decent bit. Same as Seth Curry, 4K on FanDuel. So better plays over there. John Wall on DK kind of stands out, 7.8K. The price on FanDuel is much higher. He'd get an additional boost if Aaron Gordon's out, and that might bring him more into the FanDuel conversation. But for now, it looks like more of a DK play that on John Wall. I'll go to you first, Title. What do you see here in this game?
Yeah, so for the Philly side, like you said, the value is where I like it a little more. Seth Curry, Danny Green. And on FanDuel, I like them more than I do DraftKings. However, those are more cash plays, like Danny Green's ceiling and Seth Curry's ceiling. Seth has a little higher ceiling, but they definitely, you don't get excited about that. I'd much rather go like Robert Williams at center so I can pay up at shooting guard and not play chalky Danny Green or chalky Seth Curry. But they're cash plays. They're fine for value. We always talk about what it gets you. So think about that, I guess. Seth Curry is better play than Danny Green, in my opinion. John Wall, like you said, he's DraftKings only. 7,800. I'm a little worried because he's coming off the revenge game. He got 34 minutes. He played really well. He gets a tougher matchup, though, against Philly. There is some blowout risk. So if they're up 15, Philly that is, 15-20, I think they're going to sit John Wall, and they're not going to run him out there in the fourth quarter and get 35 minutes or something again. So I'm definitely lower on this situation in tournaments. But on cash, John Wall is a good play. He gets even a bigger boost if Eric Gordon's out. FanDuel's price is too much for me right now, assuming Eric Gordon's in. Tobias Harris is the only other Philly guy of interest in. He's 7,600, power forward eligible. He's just solid. He's always solid. He has a ceiling. He has a floor. He's a good basketball player for a good price, and no one's going to play him at 7,600. So I'm fine going there too. Other than that, yeah, it's Seth, it's Danny Green, John Wall on DraftKings, and not too much interest though, because Embiid, like I like Embiid, but I like Joker more. I like Robert Williams more. It's all about the other positions.
Yeah. Before I throw it over to Big T, I just saw a comment in the chat that kind of stood out. Marcus Hickman said, I need some workbench gear. Don't usually wear the shirt on the bench, but I'm fresh flat bill cap and mid top boots for gripping purposes. So this guy needs some gear to go along with his word. That is hilarious. First off, but last night, we recorded the PGA show. And it doesn't get a ton of views because it's on a Tuesday night, and a lot of people aren't into PGA Tuesday night. It goes out on Tuesday night though. So not many viewers were sitting in there, and the guy pops in. He's like, I was about to get on the workbench, and then I realized that you guys were going live, so I hopped over here. I'm gonna pass up on the bench, and I had to do the double. I had to do the double take. I looked at it, and I paused the show right away. I said, man. I said, this is Tuesday night. I said, PGA doesn't go till Thursday morning. I said, get your ass back on the bench. We'll be here till Thursday. You can replay this damn thing. He's like, no, I watch it live. And it only gets like 40, 50 people watching at a time. I watch it live every week. I'll get the workbench another time. I'm like, what a bad decision. Tony, you don't approve of that, do you?
I mean, I approve of bringing her in while you're watching and letting her get on the saddle for a minute. That's what I approve of.
Yeah. You're not passing up a bench opportunity to watch a PGA show on Tuesday night, are you? I mean, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Like, thank you for sure. Yeah. But, man, I was
can't be passing up on the bench unless it's got to be like Sunday morning, 15 minutes before NFL lock.
NFL, yeah.
Like that's the only time I approve giving up the bench.
Yeah. I was thinking of you though when that situation occurred. I knew you would not approve, but hey, loyal listener, and we got to give him credit for that. Actually, I want to get his name if he's in here. I mean, I want to get you some gear for sure because that shows.
You might be on the bench.
you got to make up for it
after last night.
You got to make up for it. Can you imagine the lady though? If the lady's all ramped up, ready to roll, and he comes in there and he said, "Oh, you know what, honey? My boys are talking about PGA tonight. I'm gonna leave you dry here." Like, man, that could piss off the lady.
Yeah, they don't like that.
All right, what do you got here? This Rockets 76ers game.
I'm still mad at myself about the other day about this Boogie. Man, I basically gave all the reasons why he wasn't going to be a lock, and then I went and played him like a donkey. I hate when I do stuff like that because no matter what, like when you're playing, you got to go with your reads. No matter what any of us say, you got to go with what you believe. And when you don't do that and you kind of fall back into it and go with the projection or whatever, and then you're wrong, like there's nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
If you play a read that you like and it goes wrong, you can't blame anyone but yourself, and that's fine. Like I'm good with that. Like no matter what. Man, it sucks when you have a read, and that was just so stupid playing Boogie. And they're just not going to play. His concrete feet just don't get it done. He's not closing games. It's just Houston is in a really bad spot tonight. I don't like it at all. Hopefully Gordon plays and these guys play to where you don't even have to consider them. You can just write this team off for the most part. I know some people might look at like Nwaba coming off his big game, Tate. But, man, I hate this spot against Philly. And then you look at Philly, like you guys said, Embiid is up in that Jokic range. I can't play him over Jokic. I will say, though, Embiid, I always make fun of the concrete feet, but he does make fun. He makes a better matchup against Embiid than some of the other guys because Embiid's pretty slow, too. He can body him up a little bit and bang with him. But either way, I don't like Embiid more than those guys. And, man, so – on FanDuel, I have to like literally pull Danny Green and Seth Curry. I like him a little bit more, but his price is up as well a little bit. But like Danny Green, I have to literally just pull him out of my player pool because he always ends up popping with like a 16 projection because he's so cheap, but he just has no upside. Like even if he has a good game, he's getting you like 18 or something. I'm not playing him anymore. I want to take him out so I don't even look at him because he is terrible. And I'm so tired of him ending up on some of my teams. There's nothing worse. This happened to me like 2 or 3 times in the last 2 weeks because I always play. The only thing I play 150 teams in is FanDuel's $3 whatever tournament it is every night. I just put my script in there and run it. And like literally 3 times in the last 2 weeks, it gets to the end of the night and my best team has friggin' Danny Green on it when it gets to the end of the night. And I'm just like, how does this dude keep getting on my good teams? I know why it is because the studs are in there with him. But the problem is the dude he literally can't get you anything. Yeah, the dude in chat says Danny Green won't make you the green. That's correct. He will not make you the green. So true. He's out of my player pool going forward.
Yeah, he's a painful roster. Quick update. Our boy is Easy Money. Easy Money 333 was the guy that passed up the bench to watch the PGA show. Sounds like he did get some activity, though, after the show, which is good. And as I said, I want to get you some gear. So reach out to BigT or info@RunPeerSports, and we're going to send you some gear for your RPS loyalty. definitely appreciate that. Glad you got the session in as well. Had a lot of fun chatting it up last night about that. And yeah, Tony, any thoughts? You want to give Easy Money a shout out?
Absolutely, he's getting some gear. We appreciate the support. We're glad to have you back here today. You get some gear, definitely, my man.
Yeah. So reach on out to Tony or info@Rumpier Sports. We'll get that shipped out right after the show today, right?
Yeah, I heading there right after this show before lock.
Right before lock. Yeah. Hopefully the FedEx is close. All right, next game.
Guy come at me again yesterday about these freaking larges. If you're watching right now, you should hear this. So he's just all over me. Like, I won the contest January 14th. I don't remember the exact date. I said, dude, I've said it on the shows like 4 times. I sent all the gear except the larges. We're waiting for the new large shirts. They're not in. They've been ordered. Everybody should, if you don't have a large, you should have your gear. Unless you won like this week, you should have your gear. And people like get heated. Like, it's still a free shirt. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're watching and we're hooking you. You can't be getting all pissed though, or that large is never going to show up. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. I mean, the larges are coming. They're ordered. Actually, like I said, Mrs. Hoop got them ordered and worked in a little discount as well. So got to give her a little shout out. She got the job done for all the people waiting for the larges. So it's they'll be here soon, to Tony's house soon, and then be out the door. For
Joe
sure.
B. I like that, Joe B. He said send him a Schmedium. I should send that guy a medium. When the larges come in, send him like a small so that he gets it, but it doesn't fit. I like that. That's a good idea, Joe B.
I like that. I definitely like that. All right, next game, Pacers, Timberwolves, 224.5 total. Pacers favored by 5. And this game is kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Not many guys are popping up in projections. Haven't heard a bunch about either side here. I'm going to maintain my same stance with the Timberwolves. There's a handful of teams that I'm just not really playing right now in DFS, especially on full slates. The Timberwolves are one of those teams. Too much volatility, too much uncertainty in terms of playing time. I'm going to continue to stick with that. On the Pacers side, yeah, I mean, I like these guys. I like the matchup, but not thrilled with the price tags. Brogdon now is closer to 8K on the site. Sabonis closer to 10K. I just don't really want to pay those price tags. Miles Turner has a fair price tag. Maybe he's a guy that you can consider in tournaments. It is a good spot. He's played pretty well lately, 41, 36.5 fantasy points in his last 2 games. Maybe he's a guy to throw into the tournament mix. Tony, I'll go to you first. I mean, despite not a lot of hype around this game, do you have any interest here?
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Minnesota catches my eye. I've been with you. I don't really think I've rostered Minnesota hardly at all. I mean, if at all. But for whatever reason tonight, they kind of catch my eye a little bit just because of the matchup. Indiana has struggled with athletic teams. I talk about the bigs all the time, but they struggle with the wings being athletic too. They really struggle with athleticism because all their best guys, literally all 3 of their best guys, you got Brogdon, Sabonis, Turner, are really good players, but none of them are crazy athletic. So you can really overwhelm them with athleticism, and that's what Minnesota does well. I mean, you got Cat is obviously a talented big that no one's going to roster. He's going to be under 5% owned against a team that I like playing good big, a good athletic. Cat isn't super athletic himself, but he's talented, and he's just so low owned that it puts him into play. And the guy that I think is just crazy sneaky in tournaments is Anthony Edwards. He's looked really good. I mean, he played 34 minutes the last 3 games, 34 fantasy points, 33, and then a 51 against the Lakers for 6K. This is a perfect example of like a guy that could break the slate at a low ownership. No one's going to play him. Even Jared Vanderbilt fits the mold of super athletic big against the Pacers. So these guys are not going to be owned. I mean, I guess Anthony Edwards looks like he's carrying a little ownership, but even Beasley is like a talented. I just like Minnesota more than I've liked them in the past. And I think they're crazy sneaky tonight. If you play them, then you can run it back with any of these Indiana. Even TJ McConnell has been really good lately. I'm not a big TJ guy, but he just played 42 minutes the other night. If you're telling me he's going to play 40 minutes, I mean, that's a tasty price point for him at 42 minutes, 5,600. So I think this game is kind of sneaky for tournaments, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, no one's really talking about it. Like I said, none of these guys are really projecting all that well either. So situation where could see some low ownership. If this game does stay close, it definitely could be a lot of fantasy upside. Title. Anything stand out to you in this Pacers Timberwolves game?
I just can't get Malcolm Brogdon right to save my life this year, it seems. Of course, we come on talking like how we're done doing Brogdon, done with all this. And then he puts up a 50 piece, 40 minutes last game. He's going to go under own again. He's 7,700. Good matchup. I'm not going to go there, I don't think, on a 5-game or on a 10-game slate, but he would be my favorite grading out projection play of the game. But Anthony Edwards is my favorite tournament play. And I'm glad Big T talked about it too, because he's 6K. So he's in the price range. The sites did a good job where he's not 4,800 or 5,200 without D Russ, and he's going to be mega chalk. He lands in the price range where I think he's going to be low owned, but we always talk about it. I talk about Anthony Edwards all the time. He has all the confidence in the world. He doesn't stop shooting, even if he's missing, like Terrence Ross. And you always want guys and rostering guys that are going to shoot it regardless if they're on, if they're off. He's very athletic. He can get steals, assists. He's just a good basketball player for 6K. He's better than a 6K player, and now his role is bigger. So I think he's going to be low owned. And people just haven't seen his ceiling too much yet in a big role like today. And I mean, it's not the best matchup. That's the only thing really holding me back as much, because Brogdon can play D, TJ McConnell, he's too small, but Sabonis, I don't know. I don't love picking on the Pacers, but 6K, Anthony Edwards, one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate, like Big T said. Other than that, not too much interest in this game.
Yeah, like that call. Tony, we're about 700 people, 300 likes, and I only mentioned it one time. I mean, I definitely like that. That's something that gets me excited. What do we need to get to for the gear and for the Essos and workbench play of the day?
I mean, I'm in a good mood. Like, we've been getting like in around 800 watching by the end usually, and we've crushed 400 every day. So, I mean, we'll keep it at that 400. We're in a giving mood this week. 400 is a good solid number. I mean, we're at 700. We'll get to 400 easy too. Like, that's how much we've built it up. The crew has responded. They give us the likes, treating us well, making us feel good. So we'll give some gear and some plays. 400's easy too. Like, we're just giving you another freebie. If we can somehow get to 500, we'll give 2 pieces.
Oh, there we go. I mean, the giving, is it Christmas? Christmas coming up right around the corner?
They're responding to us though. Like,
yeah.
Look at that. Right now we got under 700 watching, 335. I mean, it's climbing. It's climbing in a hurry.
You guys make us happy with the likes, and we reward you with contest tickets, gear. Could be some nice surprises. And I don't know. I mean, we can get creative. We can definitely get creative. So reward us with those likes, and we'll make it worth your while. That is for sure. That's kind of what we do here at RPS. All right, next game. It's a good one. Nuggets, Wizards, 233.5 total. Denver favored by 3.5. And still some news around the Nuggets. Jokic showed up on the injury report, but as probable with a thumb, it sounded like. Gary Harris is now questionable. Monte Morris is now questionable. Really need that news. And it doesn't seem like a big deal whether or not those guys play, but it actually kind of does, because we saw Campazzo have a big game yesterday. He looked solid. Michael Porter Jr., I mean, another just bust game. Tony, you had some tweets out about how awful he looked. I'm going to let you talk about him here in a second. JaMychal Green kind of busted in a really good spot. If they're still thin, I mean, I have a hard time just not going right back to those guys. So, I mean, this is a really, really good spot against the Wizards. On the Wizards side, it's really been Russ and Beal or nothing for me, honestly. There's just not enough to go around outside of those two. And I will say, Beal has looked phenomenal. I really do hope that he gets a chance to play for another team this season. I mean, he's out there, he's busting his ass. It's not like he could easily just mail this in and go out there and chuck up some shots. He's in this emotionally. He's playing hard, looks really good. And I really hope he gets a chance to play for another team this season and leaves Westbrook there all by himself. That would just be so nice. Tony, a lot to talk about here. Talk about your Nuggets, talk about Porter Jr. and Beal as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things I was right on for sure. Porter God, he just looks so out of it right now. That for one, the most important part of everything is Jokic hates him and Malone hates him. So if your best player and your coach hate you, you are really up against it. And then on top of it, he gets lost on defense. He takes terrible shots. Honestly, like I was the one cranking him the most the last couple of years, like play him more. He's a beast. The dude might just not be able to figure it out. Like he was so bad in that game yesterday, like outrageously bad, getting just blown coverages on defense, missing layups, shooting terrible shots with guys in his face. I mean, he looked really bad. So I would struggle to come back with him. But again, they're shorthanded somewhat. He's 5,500. So I know people are going to play him on FanDuel. But, man, it'd be hard for me to come back with him after yesterday. Like, as long as Jokic hates him, I just don't see how he gives you that ceiling performance unless it's a blowout and somehow they destroy him or something. Or you fade Jokic. Maybe Jokic gets in foul trouble. They need Porter scoring. But, man, I have a hard time going there. I do think you can go with these guys, though, depending on who's in, because Monte and Gary Harris could play, which would kill all the value. Even Campazzo would be a way worse play, obviously, if those two play. So this is one game that we're definitely going to need the news. So just to simplify, if Monte and Gary Harris play, I really don't think you should play any other Nugget besides Jokic. But if they sit again, I think all these guys are right back in play, like literally every one of them. Even the dude Zeke that I talked up yesterday, he played like 26, 28 minutes. He just didn't do that much. I'd be fine coming back with him against Washington, though, as long as those two guys are out. Like I said, you got to wait for the news. Jamal Murray, I know he got there yesterday, but I'm still going to say I'm not playing him with Jokic either. I know a lot of people will, but the ball that goes through Jokic, I just don't think they both put a ceiling performance up. So if I was playing Jamal, it would be on a non-Jokic team, which is fine tonight. We got all these other center plays. Maybe you do play Jamal Murray and MPJ over Jokic or something. I think that's an interesting tournament build. I'll probably side with the Jokic side of that more, with the values if we can. And then the Washington side, I couldn't agree more. Like, please get Bradley. Get him to Denver. Trade all these dudes for Bradley Beal and let him play with Jokic, and let me see what happens with those two playing together. Good Lord, good luck. Good luck guarding those two playing together. When they can both shoot, they can play off each other. Whew, I'd definitely have to watch the games with no clothing on if those two are on the same team. But and Westbrook. I mean, this dude. So the other night,
he is bad. I mean, I watched that entire game. He is legitimately bad.
And then people will respond to my tweet though, like he got 56 fan. I'm not talking.
It's Andre Drummond. It's the Andre Drummond effect. They're never going to be on a winning basketball team.
He was so bad that game, like so bad basketball wise.
But he never was okay. He early on in his career, he'd do that thing where he'd dribble up so fast, stop on a dime, pull up, and he'd hit the shot. He'd always hit that shot in the past. Like he was phenomenal at just stopping on a dime, pulling up, free throw line extended. He'd nail it every time. I don't think I've seen him make that shot in like 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem with all these guys, and it's going to be Giannis's issue too, is they're super athletic, so they crush when they're younger. But what happens when they start getting injuries too, and their athleticism starts to go down a little bit? Like LeBron, he's more skilled than ever right now. So as his athleticism goes the other way, he's still super skilled, so he's still going to crush. And I don't know. This game is interesting because if it stays close, Beal's going to crush, Jokic is going to crush. I'm sure we'll see some of these other guys crush as well. I'm a little worried of a blowout, though. With these two teams, you could see a blowout either direction, honestly.
We must have a new viewer. Solid Pick says, bro said he going to watch the games with his clothes off if Beal comes to the Nuggets. LMFA. You must not know Big T all that well because that's what Big T's all about. That's a Big T comment right there.
Yeah.
So if you're new, make sure you come back and continue.
I mean, is that not normal? Do you guys not just watch naked when you get a little excited?
No, this guy was always in chat. Solid Pick. I think he's just laughing at his comments. He's always in chat.
Title, what do you got here in this game?
Yeah, so Jokic is the best play for sure on both sides. I just watching him every single game, or whenever I get to watch, like yesterday, it's just truly amazing how skilled this guy really is at basketball. He's matchup proof. He gets the minutes in close games. He's one of the best plays on the slate today for sure. JaMychal Green, I know he's popping on both sites. He's better on FanDuel where you have to roster 2 power forwards and he's cheaper at 4,200. But another one of those guys in tournaments where I'm not playing chalk JaMychal Green if that's the case, because there's so many routes that he doesn't get there. Michael Porter Jr., I'd only play him on FanDuel than DraftKings. I mean, this guy's uber talented. There's no denying that. But he just, like you guys say, he just doesn't understand like how to play team ball and win. He gets the ball in the wing with Jokic and a mismatch down below, and he'll just pull it just because he thinks it's going in, or it just his basketball IQ really lacks, it seems, which, I mean, yeah, no wonder why Mike Malone and Jokic doesn't like you. So FanDuel is priced always
of Jokic, right? Like Jokic is literally as smart of a basketball player as you could have, and MPJ is the dead opposite.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see, like, I think he just gets the ball 1 second and it's going up right away. Like a guy could be anywhere in your face, and he elevates so good on his shot where it's never blocked and like it's close, so he thinks it's going in, but I don't know. He's gonna get hot one of these days, and when he does, he's gonna put up 50 because he won't stop shooting. But it's a FanDuel only play, not a DraftKings for me. I don't have any interest in Washington today with the prices. I'm with you guys on Beal, though. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I love how he's actually going out and playing every game, trying his hardest to win. He's not one of those guys like Harden earlier and stuff where you have to worry, is he going to play today? Is he not going to try? All that. So hope he gets a good spot, but no Wizards for me. Definitely watch the news. If Monte Morris does play, he's only 4,100 on FanDuel. No one's going to play him. I like that. If he's out, Campazzo's a very good basketball player too. Works really well with Jokic. 3,500 still. He'd be very chalky too. This is a game that, I mean, it starts at 8 Eastern. This is why we don't play the first game really outside of a couple pieces and stuff, because this news is definitely big.
Yeah, and another reason to potentially fade that first game, Ben Simmons now downgraded to questionable with an illness. So if he were to sit, be a big boost.
The old illness too. The old illness.
That's never good.
The old illness.
Never good in 2021 to see the illness word.
Yes, that is correct. Next game was not initially supposed to be played tonight. Pistons Mavericks got postponed, so it looks they went ahead and put the Pistons Bulls in here. And it's a 219.5 total. Chicago favored by 3. And I guess the big news here on the Pistons side is obviously them moving forward without Blake Griffin, which creates a good opportunity for a lot of these younger guys, Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, Sadiq Bey, Ellington. Ellington's only 3K on DK. That's seems like a pretty good price tag. On the Bulls side, not a lot here for me on this 10-game slate. I mean, there's some really, really good spots that I have way, way more interest in. I'm going to be off the Bulls, but I'm definitely going to take a look at Grant and maybe some of these other Pistons guys. Title, we'll go to you first. What do you have here in this game?
Yeah, so Grant on FanDuel, I like. He's only 7,200 at a small forward position that isn't great, so he stands out. 7,600 on DraftKings is fine too. Svi Mikhailuk, he's only 3,200 on DraftKings. I think he's 3,500 on FanDuel. Yeah, he's min price. This guy, I don't know if anyone or too many people have seen this guy play or something, but he's very cheap, and this guy's just a sniper. Like he's a very good 3-point shooter. He's a pretty good skilled offensive player too. I'd rather play him than I would a Wayne Ellington, who's 3K, or some of the other punts. He's only 200 more. Skilled basketball player. I like what I see. His role's now bigger without Blake Griffin, so I think he makes for a good punt and gets overlooked too. Other than that, not too much interest in this game.
Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have a ton of interest. Just looking at the Detroit guys, God, I mean, this is why I like those Boston guys. Like, I think those 2 Boston guys I talked about, Neesmith and Time Lord, like, I physically couldn't imagine playing Spee over those 2 guys. I mean, I like him too, but man, he's like a Danny Green play where if he gets super hot, maybe he gets you in the – he got 30 last game. What percentage did he shoot? Let me see this. How in the world did he get 30 fantasy points?
He's a sniper. He 4 threes. He had 18 points.
I've seen him since Kansas. Like, this dude he's
I would take him over Danny Green any day.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, Danny Green now, like it was a little bit of an exaggeration, but the point being is I would much rather play a guy like Neesmith. I mean, yeah, if he plays 25 minutes and goes 7 for 11 from the field, he got 2 blocks too. I mean, it's a value though. Like we always
5% probably 3,200.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If he gets those minutes, and then the Bulls side, I don't know. This matchup just doesn't do it for me. I'm looking at the prices. You can always play Levine, but he's 9,400, 95 on FanDuel. That price doesn't stick out. I don't know. The prices just match the production in this game for me. Even Jeremy Grant, like I like Jeremy Grant, but his price doesn't like stick off the page to me by any means. I think he'll be solid too. He'll probably get you 35 to 40 fantasy points, which is good. I don't know. I don't like this game. Like normal, 10-game slate. I just want to fade a few spots, and this will probably be a game I just fade for the most part.
The chat, I did forget to mention Delon Wright. I see the chat, a bunch of people asking about him too. He's fine on DraftKings. He's only 6K. I do like that price. He's going to be low owned. He's one of the higher usage guys on the team. So I like that play a lot on DraftKings tournaments. I forgot to mention. So nice job, chat.
I like that too, because they don't have any point guards besides Dennis Smith Jr. And we've seen how trashy he is. So I like the Delon Wright call. That's a good call.
And it's a 3-point spread, so you expect this game to be close. I've got to give chat props on that one.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, next game, we got the Trailblazers. We have the Pelicans, 236.5 total. Pelicans favored by 4. And before we get into any of the plays, I just got to recap yesterday's show with Tony Yu and Mangone and JT Hayes when JT was talking about Eric Bledsoe like he was an unfadable commodity, and you about lost it. It was funny. I mean, it was a really funny interaction. I mean, JT is our boy. He was talking about Eric Bledsoe like he had gone out there and put up like 50 fantasy points in 3 straight games. That was so good, man. That was so good.
My favorite part about it, though, is like we all do here. I looked at his team later that night. You know who was right in that DraftKings team for him?
Oh, the way he was talking about it.
We don't play our plays. He backed it up. I'll give it to him. I mean,
he got there too.
And he had his best game. He had his best game in like 3 weeks.
You probably played him on FanDuel though, where he was a shooting guard and dead cheap. JT played him on DK, where he was a point guard or a shooting guard too, I guess, and not as cheap. I think at FanDuel he was definitely in play. DK, I mean, it's our boy. That's why he wins tournaments. That's being a tournament player. If you're not throwing some guys out like that, you're not a tournament player. Like anyone can come on here and say to play the best guys. So we should. It's like me. I get made fun of all the time by Hoop and Title. Like you need to throw some crazy guys out there.
That's how you win GPPs.
Yeah, the interaction though was that was just so funny. I was dying, man, at the computer. Talk to me about this game, the Trailblazers Pelicans big total. I mean, 236.5. What do you got here?
Me or
you Big T.
Yeah,
I'll stick with you.
Yeah, I mean, so Zion yesterday, we've kind of trashed him a bunch, and I talked about this on the After Lock show or the Up to Lock show with JSU and Holden, where I got to the end of my second DK team, and of course, I get to the very end, and this is a perfect example of it. It either fits where I have to play Zion or Ingram to make my perfect team work, and I always use the example. You don't want them to be the first one in, but the last one in, I like them. And it worked because I played Zion in that spot. He got me 52. And the thing that sticks out, so this is kind of what I talked a month ago about Giannis, where the minutes ticked upward, and I don't think people realized. So his last 4 games, 37, 37, 36, and then yesterday was a little bit of a blowout. So he didn't quite get that stretch run, but I think it would have been there again where I'm pretty sure he didn't play the 4th yesterday at all, which is another, 9 minutes, would put him right back up there, 36, 37 minutes. If this dude is going to play 37 minutes against Portland, who's going to guard him today?
Probably Rocco is my guess.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's going to be an absolute disaster for Portland. Like he is going to eat tonight. And I know we've preached don't play him, but I'm having a very hard time not clicking his name tonight. And one of the things that's a positive is say he doesn't hit his ceiling. there's nothing wrong with putting a little 42 ball up there for 8K and just moving on. And sure, you want a ceiling, but man, who's going to guard him? They don't have anybody that can handle him inside. And I can't wait to play him. Portland, obviously, you can play the same guys. Dame is going to be one of the better plays, as always. Canner is in play, but I don't want to play bigs against New Orleans. So for me, it's going to be the guards. Lillard, Trent, even Bobby Covington is a sneaky play in there. Derek Jones is cheap, but man, Zion sticks off the page to me. What do you guys think of Zion?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. You can see, like you said, you got to follow these trends, and the minutes are finally starting to tick up. And we've talked about it on the show quite a bit where, he hasn't shown the ceiling. He hasn't shown the big upside gains, but, starting to turn a corner a little bit in that department. I mean, 48, 44, 51, and, these guys, you got to look for these trends. And if the minutes are going to be, he would have easily, I mean, he would have smashed if he would have got that full rotation. He played the beginning of the fourth quarter and then came out and never saw the court again. If he would have got the final 6 minutes, he would have been right there to probably close to a 60 burger. So I agree with you. I think he's a strong play. The matchup is phenomenal here. And on top of it, Steven Adams a little bit dinged up. It sounds like he is going to play, but he's not fully healthy. So that's another little boost for him as well. Title, what do you got here in this game?
Yeah, it's the biggest total on the slate at 237, and I think it goes overlooked because people are going to go with the Boston guys or Jokic and stuff. So I like the Dame and Zion stack for sure. It's supposed to be a close game. Dame's is just chucking. It's Dame. I love playing him at any time right now without CJ. He's only 10-3 on DraftKings, 9-5 on FanDuel. I say only, but 10-3 feels a little expensive, but this guy has monster upside. His usage is so big on the team. I like Zion today running it back too. Like you guys were saying, we target Portland all year. They've been brutal on defense. I don't think Rocco can guard him. And I think Rocco is going to be the one because I think Derek Jones on Ingram with length. They need Cantor on Adams. Zion should have his way down low, offensive rebounds. Think he goes overlooked too for a good price. So I like him. And then I like Gary Trent on both sides too. 5,500 on FanDuel, 5,800 on DraftKings. He's in that weird price range where I think he goes overlooked. And Gary Trent's been chucking it just as much as anyone too. Gets the ball, great shooter, and just it goes up. Anytime that happens, I like it a lot. This is one of the better game environments, and I think it goes really overlooked with other spots in this game. So sign me up.
Yeah, I like that Gary Trent call. A little sneaky play. I can't imagine a lot of people will be on him either.
I love him on FanDuel too, because shooting guard's so bad. Like he just chucks, like Title said.
Yep. All right.
Like I'm trying to find the 700 from Bledsoe to him in tournaments who's going to be lower. Like Trent's going to be lower owned, way more upside. Like that's just the cash play. Probably Bledsoe. Tournaments, no doubt. I'm finding that 700.
Yeah, certainly. I agree with you there.
Look at this roster. I know I'm already preaching it, but my God, who's going to guard Zion? They don't have any big.
Yeah, he can feast here if he wants. He can have as big of a game as he wants. And Carmelo. He'll work right through Carmelo.
Their best bet's Harry Giles, I think, and he's not in the rotation mainly. So
he's out.
Yeah, he's gonna. Oh, he's hurt. He wasn't even in even before that.
Yeah,
so they have no one that can guard him.
Yeah, no, he could have a real big game here.
They could put him at the 5. He's gonna play some 5 and get a lot of work. Highest total. These are the games Zion absolutely dominates. So it looks like he's probably gonna come out and get 3 fouls in the first 3 minutes.
That's probably what's gonna happen exactly because that is
very possible.
Like he's going to have to guard someone the other way, and I could see him getting those fouls. That is that would be tilting.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
All right, guys. After us, final countdown, JSU, Holden taking you all the way up to lock, breaking down the slate, covering all the news that breaks, which we'll certainly get some. It's the way it's been going, and it's the way it's probably going to continue for the remainder of the NBA season. So we head on over to Rumpier Sports. It's part of our premium package, so you need to be a member to watch that show. We have the promo code Workbench21 still going. Gets you 25% off your first payment at Rumpier Sports. That's Workbench21 as the promo code. Still have our promo going with Monkey Knife Fight. You head on over there and deposit $50 match if you use the promo code RUNPIER. In our Discord channel, we in our Discord chat, we have a channel fully dedicated and devoted to Monkey Knife Fight picks and plays for basically every single sport. So head on over to Monkey Knife Fight, use that promo code RUNPEER at checkout. All right, a few more games, and then we're going to get to the plays, the workbench play of the day, the SO play of the day. Let's see how we're doing on the likes. Oh, very good. You guys got to the over 400. We're at 410. Tony said if we get to 500, we'll give away a second piece of gear. Actually, it'll be a third piece of gear because I hooked my boy Easy Money 333 up earlier in the show. So it could be a 3-gear day, 3-piece gear, or three. It would be a giveaway of 3 pieces of apparel today if we get to 500 likes. So work on that, guys.
Whenever those shirts get here, too, they're going out because I want to get this list completely updated. I'm tired of people getting on me about it. So whenever these shirts get here, it's all going out. So if you get on that list this week, decent chance you get it within the next probably 10 days or so whenever these shirts arrive.
All right, next game is the Thunder Grizzlies, 227 total. Memphis favored by 7. Memphis on a back-to-back. But, a lot of their guys didn't get full run because they got blown out last night against the Pelicans. On the Thunder side, Gilgeous-Alexander is set to return, but Al Horford is going to miss because of the back-to-back. Big boost to Isaiah Roby, who's real cheap on DK at 4K. He's probably going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate. Darius Baisley, Lou Dort. A guy who's been playing really, really well. But SGA back is kind of going to limit the upside for some of these guards and smaller forwards. But like I said, Roby is the main guy here, should have decent bit of ownership. On the Grizzlies side, moderate interest in some of these guys. I think Morant's okay. He does worry me a little bit on the back-to-back. I could potentially, this game wouldn't be surprised if it blew out either. So I don't know. I'm not going to be overly invested in the Grizzlies, but I do think Morant is kind of rounding into form. I think he is a pretty good tournament play, but not too much else for me on this side. Roby, though, is probably the main piece in this game. He's going to have a lot of ownership. Tony, how are you handling Roby today in tournaments with the expected high ownership?
Yeah, and it really clears the deck, too, because I always talk about Horford's defense. I think his defense is pretty underrated. Even though he's older and kind of slow, he still bodies people, and he knows position defense. He knows where he should be. So getting him out of there really opens up the Memphis side, too, where on a slate like this, I just don't think Memphis guys are going to be owned at all. And 2 of them, especially Joe Val and John Morant, stick off the page a little bit in that middle area where I think they have a lot of upside. Seems kind of the same thing we're talking about with Zion in a completely different way. They don't have anyone to guard Joe Val on the post. He's just going to go to work down there. And we've seen his upside. Joe Val has as much upside as anybody in basketball when he gets the minutes. The minutes aren't always there. He's a tournament play always because he could easily get run off the floor or something depending on what happens. But he's got upside, and that's all we care about as tournament players. And he's a center with Jokic on the slate and values on the slate. He's going to sneak completely through the cracks. And he's got 60-point upside. There's definitely paths where he outscores Jokic even for way cheaper. So I think he's a great play, and Ja is a great play against OKC. Obviously, these are tournament plays, and then you run it back with Roby. Roby is one of the better values on the slate. They don't have bigs. He's 4K on DK and 4.7 on FanDuel, which as a power forward isn't a bad price either. So I think this game's pretty sneaky.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's going to be a ton of ownership outside of Roby. He's the one guy that stands out as, being a popular high-owned type guy. Title, what's your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, Roby is pretty much the only interest I have. Both sites, he's fine. Other than that, if I had to go anywhere in tournaments, it'd be Ja or Dylan Brooks. Valanciunas is going to be really low on for sure. I just like the other centers so much with Jokic, Robert Williams, now Embiid. If Simmons misses, Embiid was already going to feast. He would even get a bigger boost, but Val's going to be really, really low on because of that. But I'm not going to go there. It's literally just Roby and then Morant in tournaments.
Yeah, I like Morant quite a bit in tournaments, starting to flash that upside that we saw a lot last season. Next game, we have the Heat. We have the Warriors, 222.5 total. Golden State favored by 1 in this game. And just looking at this game, I really like it from a fantasy perspective. I think it has a chance to be high scoring. In a close game, both sides, the guys are going to play a ton of minutes. I think Jimmy Butler, really good tournament play. I don't see him popping up in too many projections. So I think he has a chance to be a little bit lower owned in this spot. Steph Curry, another guy that, I don't think is going to be highly owned today. So I kind of like that pairing a little bit in tournament, Butler, Steph. But some of these secondary guys are interesting as well. I mean, I really like the game. I'm just struggling to pinpoint which pieces that I like. Title, I'll go to you first. Does anything stand out to you in this Heat Warriors game?
Yeah, I think this game goes crazy low owned, and it's a pretty good game like you were talking about. Jimmy Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero, they all have good prices on DraftKings. I really like Hero at 6K. I think he goes overlooked in that price range too. And the more we talk about this, the more I really like the balanced build. A lot of these mid 5, 6K people plug in a stud or two here, but not just go completely stars and scrub. Hero's had these minutes have been up for sure. He's shown plenty of upside this year, last year at 6K. Good player. So I like him a lot. Probably my favorite Heat person due to the price and the ownership. As far as Golden State, Oubre, Wiggins, Draymond, you can go to any of them. How I've been approaching Golden State, I've usually just been targeting one of them each game because it seems like either Oubre gets there, or Draymond gets there, Wiggins gets there, but it's not too often. It seems like all three of them get there with Steph in the equation too. So Oubre is probably my favorite. Other than that, or Kelly Olynyk on FanDuel too. He's 4,500, but I guess he's a center position. So forget I even said that. I'm not spending Kelly O on this slate. Good tournament slate. I like Tyler Hero as my favorite play though, but I'm not going to have too much. It's under owned though. So I'm excited to hear what Big T says. Cause it's very, very under owned. I don't know anyone that's playing anyone in this game in cash.
Yeah, Ben Simmons officially ruled out, so that clears the pathway for some of those 76ers guys as well. I mean, Tony, real quick before we hop into this game, who do you think gets the biggest boost right off the top of your head?
I mean, the first guys always that pop out to me are obviously Maxey, 3,200. For me, I want to see who starts. I know it depends on the team. Like sometimes I think the bench guys may have more value. In this case, I want to see who's going to start. Like last time in this spot, I think Furkan got the start, and I played him, and he got like 26 or something. But I want to see who they start. Man, if Maxey starts at 3,200 against Houston, I don't know how you don't play that. I mean, whoever it is, though. I mean, Furkan's 3,300, Maxey's 3,200. So whichever one of those two starts is the guy I want to play.
No Danny Green? He's not the biggest boost?
He's trying to inch his way up the chart.
He's the minimum on FanDuel.
God, Danny Green.
Embiid gets a big boost for me. Like, he should absolutely smash in this matchup now. Simmons has been more aggressive lately, and I mean, now Embiid's going to get more shots, more of that. Center is absolutely loaded today. It's a 2-center night for sure for me.
Yeah, I agree. Tony, Warriors, Heat, what do you got in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what Title was saying. Tyler Hero fits that middle build, like exactly like a Gary Trent play. It's funny that they're similar positions, similar price, similar role, honestly, where they chuck shots and a good spot. And those are tournament builds where you just live in that mid-range. If all those middle guys get you high 30s, low 40s, you're in very, very good shape. So I don't usually go those builds just because of the values, but man, it's a great tournament build because how many times do we see, okay, Denver blows out Washington tonight and Jokic gets 48 because of it, or stuff happens in the NBA, which is why if you get off that chalky path, it's a good thing to do. So I like the Hero call. And I mean, Jimmy Butler, you want to talk about a guy that continues to go low owned. I don't think I've played him yet hardly at all. So it's for me too. But you click on him, 8,800 on DK, 94 on FanDuel is way more fair, but 88 on DK. I mean, the dude has gone for 65, 37, 58, 56, 44, 44, 44, 50, 50. So basically, since he's come back, he's only had one game that he didn't hit value. And that was 38. Like, even 38 isn't going to kill you. So, I mean, what is that? That's like 10 games where he's just crushed. Still not going to be owned against a team that he matches up good against. And the best part is I probably won't play him again because he just doesn't fit my build. And he's probably going to get 50 again. So this is one of the things where I play 1 to 3 teams. And like I always say, it's just I can't play everyone. So I end up fading guys like this. It's where some of the people that are really good at entering 150 teams, which I'm not one of them. I think I'm decent at it. I'm definitely not great at NBA, though. They would just play like above the field Jimmy Butler and just go with it and take their chances. And I think that's smart. If you're playing 150, I would definitely be above the field on Jimmy Butler. He's just been crushing. But 1 to 3 teams, he doesn't really fit what I'm trying to do tonight. So I don't know if he'll make my teams. Bam's in good shape. Golden State, my issue with Golden State is they're all priced appropriately to me. I mean, Draymond, Wiggins, Oubre, all in the 6Ks. Draymond's more on FanDuel. And then Curry's over 10K. I'm not paying over 10K for Steph. I'm not doing, especially against Miami, who's well coached. They'll have a plan for him. He's fine, but I can't play him over these other studs. So Golden State is a pretty clear fade for me. And then the Miami guys look good, though. Hero, Bam, Butler.
Yeah, and ownership here should be really, really low, especially now when we're getting these news to get guys being out like Ben Simmons and whatnot. All right, last game on the slate, we have the Jazz, we have the Clippers, 228 total. Utah favored by 3.5. A very tough game to break down at this point. It's the last game on the slate, 10 p.m. Eastern. There's 2 of those, the Heat and the Warriors are at 10 p.m. Eastern as well. But Conley is questionable, and he's been out, and it's been very easy to pinpoint the guys to go to on the Utah Jazz. He comes back and plays, I'm going to put the Jazz back in the category where I'm not playing them until there's an injury. And that's kind of been my stance for a while, and it's worked out pretty well. I've been playing some of these guys because Conley's out. If he comes back, that ruins the fun. I'll be off the Jazz. On the Clippers side, Paul George is going to continue to be out. Now, Nicholas Batum has already been ruled out, but Kawhi Leonard is also listed as questionable, and it's tough. And we're definitely not going to get this news. It's 3 hours after the slate locks. Tony, you're very good at breaking down the news. You're very good at building your teams to accommodate to the news. Are you saving spots for this news, or are you just going to kind of let this one ride and not worry about it?
Yeah, I mean, this falls into the bucket for sure now with the Philly news, where I'm just taking the early things that I know. I don't like picking on the Clippers in Utah anyway, so It just looks like a clear fade for me. Maybe I run bad and the news breaks wrong and people pound us. I don't think this game's going to be high owned anyways, though.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to fade it. I mean, that's just the truth. If someone beats me, they beat me with it. And honestly, the way my team's as a 1 to 3 lineup guy, I probably won't play either 10 o'clock game, kind of how I've been doing, and just take my chances. But I really don't like the Miami guys. I do like the Miami guys for sure. This game, I couldn't even make a case for anyone, really. Like, I'm looking to see who I would even think about playing. Sweet Lou, I guess, if Kawhi was out. But his price is up now even. I don't think there's anybody that I would play in this game.
Yeah, I mean, 2 defensive-minded teams. I agree with you. I'm just gonna let the news slide on this one and lock in the guys I feel comfortable with. Title, do you have a different opinion, or are we 3 for 3 on that?
No, 3 for 3. It's one of those way better spots earlier with all the value and stuff. No need to backload today, I don't think. Just take your points. It's going to be low owned anyway, so it's not like that's going to be the reason that you lose is because the news broke the wrong way. Easy fade. And I hope Mike Conley comes back real soon because D. Mitch is costing me too much cheese lately. I keep playing that guy because Conley's out and good price in that, and that is not working well.
I'm with you. I've been in the same boat, and it hasn't worked out. And tonight, I'm just gonna clear my mind of it and move on. It's gonna feel good. All right, that will do it for the game by game breakdown. Now it is time to move into our plays of the day. Let's see, we're at 427. Didn't get to the 500, so we'll be giving away 1 piece of gear at the end of the show. All right, Title. Let's hear the SO play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, so there's a lot of options actually I was thinking about today, but it might be recency bias because it was one of the last ones we talked about. But Tyler Hero today at 6K, I just can't ignore that price tag. I think he's going to be under 10% owned, a one point spread. I just think he has his way against the Warriors today. Love the price, love the ownership, makes your build different right away. So Tyler Hero for the SO play of the day.
All right. While I go through this Manscaped promo and Big T gives the workbench play title, find us the gear winner in the chat. All right.
All right.
Got one piece of gear. We're giving a second piece actually because of my boy Easy Money. He's getting one for his loyalty, passing up the bench and watching the PGA show yesterday. So like I always say, whether you're hitting the workbench, doing the dry hump, Eiffel Tower, whatever it may be, you need to make sure that you're cleaned up below the belt. And our boys over at Manscaped are the company to go to. They'll hook you up with. Tony's got the razor right back there. They got the gel. They got cream. They got everything you need. Their devices, their products are built so they don't nick and scrape you down below. That's the last thing you want. You don't want an injury before you get to the workbench. I mean, that's not going to make you happy. It's not going to make the lady happy. So head on over to Manscaped, use the promo code RUNPEER. You get a 20% discount off your purchase over there. Good stuff. Like I said, I mean, you don't have to worry about the nicks and scrapes. That's one of the worst feelings in the world when you're trimming below and you kind of get nicked up and starts bleeding. I always say, like, man, when you're using a regular razor blade or the electric clippers, you jolt your whole body. So Manscaped will definitely hook you up. So head on over there, use that promo code RUNPEER. Big T, give us the workbench play of the day.
Man, so this is just how news changed. Like I was dead set on throwing my boy Naismith. I still might too. I like always, I'm winging it as I go here looking at these teams. But man, I mean, Philly with Simmons out against Houston in a blowout spot. Tyrese Maxey, man, like even if he doesn't start, the more I've thought about it, because this happens fresh as we're on air, and I was saying I wanted him to start. The more I'm thinking about it, it might be better if he doesn't start. And if it blows out like this, could you imagine this dude playing the whole fourth against these Houston scrubs at 3,200? I mean,
so good.
What's that?
I said Maxey's so good. Like anytime he's on the court.
And he's 3,200. There's like basically the only risk you're carrying with him is this game stays close and he gets minimal run, which he's still going to play 25 minutes or something, even in a close game or whatever the number is. I'm not the best with, so we got Eric Gordon. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think Maxey is just a total smash. And I think you can even play him with Furkan. Last time in this spot, they both went for like 26 fantasy points. Whoever starts is going to be the chalk. Whoever doesn't will be lower owned. And I think you can play both of them. Maxey's for sure the better play. I still love my boy Neesmith, but I got to go with Maxey, I think, for the workbench play of the day.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, he's definitely in play whether he starts or not. And big opportunity for him. They're going to need his ball handling and his scoring here. So I definitely love that call. All right, after us, we have Holden and JSU taking you all the way to lock on the final countdown, part of our premium products. You have to head over to RunPeer Sports. You can use that promo code. Workbench 21 gets you 25% off your first payment at RunPeer Sports. All right, we're going to get on out of here for Titletown.
Wait, should I pick the gear?
Oh, yeah, we got gear winner. Who do you got for us?
I got you guys, chat. Joshua LaJoyal. I probably mispronounced it. I'm sorry, but he said, I watched the show naked in regards to Big T's comment earlier. So, that was a funny comment. Joshua LaJoyal, you email what? Or Discord, email Big T, or you it's your job. I don't know what you do.
You can find me. Send me a message on Twitter and Discord, wherever. You know where to find me.
Yep, or info at RunPeer Sports. You can email it in, your information, shirt size, address, all that good stuff. All right, good catch, Title. Appreciate that. For Titletown, for Big T, I'm Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest.
Good luck, everybody.